What? What's up, Simians? Dan at Starlight here. Back at the vlogging thing. So, it's been a while, huh? I was vlogging like a lot a year ago, and I had to take a break from it. Honestly, it's like I think you need to go through phases of content creation and content presentation. And I had to go through a bit of a creation phase. I kind of also set up my vlogging in a style which was sort of hard to maintain. It's a good style, it was just hard to maintain for me at that point in time based on the content that I had. So I'm going to vlog a little differently this time. Before, what I was doing was kind of like, there was a lot of abstraction between my thinking process and the presentation. I was trying to summarize my thinking in a way that was concise, ultimately to save you guys time if you were kind enough to watch or were interested in what I had to say. I wanted to save you time. I wanted to take my thinking, which happened over a long period of time, summarize it down and give you like the cliff notes, right? But, you know, this time I think I'm just gonna like waste your time. No, just joking. I mean, but kind of. I mean, you might not be into this. You might want to watch it at double speed. It's going to be a little bit longer because I want to show you more of the thinking process. I want to be a little bit more free in front of the microphone, right? I want to not turn it off if I'm screwing up, because that's part of the thinking process. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've enjoyed watching people think, and a lot of you probably also watched the interview with Elon Musk on Joe Rogan. So I just watched that, which really inspired me and made me realize that this is probably the right track to be on. You know, because it's a long format. You know, they're not planning what they're saying; they're thinking through things in real time. Not only that, but they touched on some stuff that helped me pull together some ideas as far as how to approach vlogging as well. One of the main ones is like, Elon Musk talked about, you know, how the limbic system, you know, like your more primal brain, interacts in a symbiotic relationship with your cortex, you know, your more human brain, and how it's a bit of, you can use those as an example for how these two brains are now interfacing with this digital layer of information that we're creating, this almost next level cortex of brain, where we're sort of uploading our identity into it, but it's very much a part of our identity. Anyways, that was fascinating, but I feel like there's more things that I can apply, I can learn from that and apply to where I need to go with vlogging, because I'll just use simple terms. Like, I like to think of it as, because I've talked about this kind of stuff before, other people have talked about it. It's like, I like to think of it as like the monkey brain, okay? And then the human brain, and then like this digital brain that we're creating right now. And it's interesting because most of what we do still comes from the monkey brain, right? It's what gets us to eat, gets us to sleep, gets us to fuck, gets us to have fun, gets us to do a lot of stuff, right? Most, like, you don't, the cerebral cortex, right, our conscious mind is making decisions throughout the day, but most of the things that we're doing are happening from our monkey brain. It's like, you know, even all the words that are loading out of my mouth right now, right? I'm not planning every single one of these words. I have my conscious brain has an idea, and then these words are from my subconscious just fleshing it out, right? If I just stop and think of every single word, it'd be a different thing. And that's kind of what I want to get away from, because when you really plan out a presentation down to every word, you really are making conscious decisions out of every single word, which doesn't give the monkey brain any freedom to show itself, right? Basically, all you're showing is the abstracted version of those impulses, right? And that can also cause a lot of stress on you as a presenter, which is kind of why I gave it up for a while and had to rethink things. But just in life in general, the best definition of stress that I know of is that the monkey brain, or your body, has these impulses that it wants, right? And then your human brain is stopping those things from happening. The cerebral cortex is mostly a layer of inhibition, right? It mostly stops what's going on, right? So that we can interact in a civilized manner, right? And a lot of things, it's good that it stops, right? So we don't go around like humping people's legs in the supermarket, right? But there's a lot of things that we inhibit that we don't need to inhibit, like are perfectly natural, right? Like if in the middle of this video I just want to go, just flail around for a while. Well, I mean, nobody cares, right? Like that's fine, right? Like if I had that impulse to do that and it felt good, maybe I should do it, right? Like maybe if you're walking down the street and you see a cute dog, maybe you should go pet it, right? Show it some love, right? If that's your impulse, there's nothing wrong with that. You might have an idea of who you are, though, and your brain has this idea of who you are that says, I don't interact with strangers, or strangers' dogs, or I don't like dogs, or so you're not open to that natural impulse anymore. And they happen all the time. So it's like the human brain inhibits a lot of what we do, even though most of what we do is still from that monkey brain, right? Like, and people drive to work just on their monkey brain, on autopilot. They're not even thinking about driving. It's kind of scary, right? But you make it to work, right? You don't crash. It's like our monkey brain can do a lot without us even being cerebrally present, okay? We can be cerebrally off on other abstract journeys and still, make it to the bathroom and hit the toilet, okay? So with vlogging, it's like, it's the same sort of thing. It's like, if I'm thinking about every single word, there's no freedom for that thinking, the energy, where did those thoughts come from? The creativity is absent, and all you're seeing is sort of the cliff notes, right? Like, that's what it is. So, but then I'm thinking, like, now that Elon Musk is drawing this connection between, well, the relationship we have between our limbic system and our cortex, or our monkey brain and our human brain, is potentially going to be similar to this next brain that we're evolving, which is our digital identity. It's AI, it is the internet, right? It's the blockchain, it's all the content that we upload about ourselves, knowingly or unknowingly, right? I mean, you are creating a digital identity every time you upload a picture, a YouTube video, every time you comment on something, every time you just touch your phone, every time you GPS yourself in a different location. I mean, it's all there. This digital layer has a lot of information about us, and it is us. It's part of us. So, but the interesting thing is that the inhibition of that layer is even another level. It's another level of inhibition. It's like our human brain inhibits the monkey brain, and then the internet brain inhibits both of them even more. Because basically, like, and again, Elon Musk pointed this out, but a lot of people have, it's like when you upload stuff to the internet, you're uploading the ideal version of yourself, right? And it's not very, it doesn't have a lot, it's not very real compared to who you are in real life, right? Like, when's the last time you just uploaded a video of yourself crying, right? Doesn't mean you don't cry, but does your digital self represent that portion of you that does cry or not, right? Like, maybe if you are very free with your emotions and how you upload stuff, but, a lot of people will select their pictures, the ones that they upload, for the best shot of them and the best angle, doing the most fun things, looking the happiest. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's not, you're not always like that. You're just uploading a very tiny part. So it's another layer of inhibition. So it's like you're creating an expectation for who you need to be, right? Like if you're a very intellectual person in a position, a political position, I mean, you have to be very careful about letting the monkey brain out, because it could do something that goes against the expectations that you've set up for yourself, right? And the same with what you upload to online, right? It's like, if you only upload pictures of yourself from your best angle, right? You know, it shows your doesn't show that, you know, weird thing that goes on with your hair over there or whatever, I don't know. It's like, then when you are in real life, it's like you're going to be less comfortable, right? Like, let's say you meet people that you've only interacted with online. Well, I mean, if all you've shown them is this really polished version of how you talk or how you behave or whatever, I mean, now all of a sudden it's like you feel like you need to live up to that. You don't really. I don't think people have those expectations the way you think, but it's like, on some level, it's like your identity, you have to live up to your identity. It's like what happened when digital music came along, right? Like when digital production of music came along, and auto-tune, and all of a sudden everything sounds perfect on digital recordings. Well, the performers, the bands, the musicians had to learn to play way better live to live up to their digital representations, right? And it was a lot of stress, and it weeded out a lot of people who had a lot of creative stuff, just because, like, you know, it's like all of a sudden this is the expectation. And there's something to that, right? I'm not saying there's not something to it. In a way, like, if you take like a law of attraction, like vision boardy, like philosophy to this, it's like maybe by uploading only the best versions of yourself, it's forcing you to become that. And there's something to that, but you have to ask, like, what is it that you really want to become? Do you want to become some like glossy, perfect speaking creature? Maybe that's what we will become. But, like, you know, maybe the best version of yourself is, you know, just the part of you that accepts everything that's happening. You know, for me, it's like the part of me that wants to turn off a video and say, I'm going to start again and do this vlog over again, you know, it's the part of me that doesn't want to accept that happened in the video, right? Doesn't want to show that, you know, I bumbled over my words, you know? I should turn this off. Ah, no, I'll just start again. And then it just becomes more abstracted, right? Then all of a sudden you're heading down this road where it's becoming less real. It's becoming less in the moment. It's becoming harder to live up to in person. And it's becoming harder for other people who see that to feel good about themselves, right? I mean, when you connect with the digital world, you know, through your little glowing rectangles all day long, I mean, for sure, there's a lot of days where you probably see more people interacting through your little glowing screens than you do in real life. And you're not seeing, so your brain has a misrepresentation of just sheer numbers. It's like just take like what we think of as a beautiful person, right? If like we're mass producing like this beautiful model image, right? And your brain sees that, like your brain sees 1,000 images of a human during the day, and if a lot of them are online, and like half of those 1,000 images are these models, your brain starts to think that it's normal that half of the people are that good looking, right? Whereas they're not even that good looking. You know what I mean? Like they don't look like that looks, right? And it's like, so it's very easy to feel bad about yourself and feel like you have to start raising your bar or competing in that game. It's like, so the more perfect you come across online, the more you kind of alienate other people and create an expectation that you have to live up to. So I think it's good just to let it go, you know? Be loose. If you feel like doing something wacky, do something. If you feel like making a funny face, I don't know, you should probably do it. I've been doing a lot of comedy, okay? Lately, a lot of stand-up comedy, which has been helping me sort of realize that the main thing is just to feel free on stage, just to feel free in front of a camera. And I need to bring that back to sort of the vlogging. I might tell some jokes sometime too, and throw some comedy your way in this next now that I'm getting out there again. And maybe someday I'm just gonna like fucking dance around the room, because sometimes I do that, and it's fun, it's awesome. So, I might just show you that, right? And we'll see how it goes. Maybe I won't. I'm just gonna take this one video at a time and see what's up. But I guess the takeaway for me from all of this is like, we already have these levels of our brain inhibiting us, and they cause stress, right? I mean, if your monkey brain wants to do something and your human brain doesn't, that energy is trapped, right? It's like two forces, this one saying yes, this one saying no, and that energy gets trapped, right? That's why you gotta let it out, right? That's why you go to the gym. That's why working out makes you feel good, right? Because you're able to, it's a nice safe way to let out that energy that you're not letting out when you don't go over and pet that dog, right? Or you don't like throw your hands up in the air when your team wins the game, right? A lot of people do, but if you're, you find your own inhibition in different places, right? So, but now that we got this other layer, which is even more inhibitory, and that's literally the way we're communicating right now. I'm talking to you, talking to this little tiny dot on my phone. Looks kind of like an alien's eye, and I don't know who's gonna see it. I probably shouldn't really care too much, but someone's gonna see it, and someone's gonna have some thought about it, whether it's related to what I'm saying or how I'm saying it, or positive or negative, doesn't really matter. And I watch other people's content. I leave comments, they leave comments. It's a weird way of communicating, but it's what's going on, and we're definitely heading down this road. So I don't really know where it's gonna go, but I thought if I'm starting vlogging again, that'd probably be a good thing to start talking about. So that's enough for today. Dan at Starlight, peace out.